Hey Beans, and welcome to probably one of my favorite conspiracies ever. So, there are people in Animal Jam. There are people in Jamaa. It's not a secret. We've seen some, like Tierney and Brady Barr and all those good boys we're such good friends with. But there are also some things that are human-shaped. There's a suit of armor in the Chamber of Knowledge that's shaped exactly like a human. Some of the skullies and skull-shaped items like the skull helmet are based off of human skulls and not animal skulls. And to go even farther, the flag shop in Animal Jam has all the flags from countries on Earth, which animals from Jamaa have never visited because we know from the Animal Jam lore that Jamaa is on a different planet than Earth. So in order for this to make sense, humans must have come over from Earth to the world of Jamaa. So where are all these humans and how did they get to Jamaa? So our first piece of evidence lies in the Wild Explorers tent, which is owned by Cammy, who is of course a human, and there is a caged phantom in the Wild Explorers tent. So how did it get there? Why is it there? And why is a human keeping a caged phantom as a pet? Well, this points to the theory that the humans are on the animals' sides, which makes sense. But why would humans have come to Animal Jam and form this strong bond with animals? Well, this would have to be because humans must have helped out the animals in the first war against the phantoms, and that's why Cammy has sort of like a trapped phantom in her tent. It's sort of this relic of the time when the phantoms and the animals battled and the humans came to help them. Because we can see that there are no humans left in Animal Jam to this day. There are only videos and skulls and things that suggest that they are long gone. So their interactions with animals must have been in the past sometime. And of course, the most significant event in the past that would have inspired humans to come over from Earth would have been the Phantom War. So what does this mean for the time period of Jamaa? Well, in order for humans to have traveled to this crazy faraway planet that we've never even heard of, it would have to be pretty far in the future. And they would have had to have some sort of super advanced rocket and space technology to have been able to get to Jamaa. But where in the world are these rockets? This doesn't add up, does it? But it does! Because in the Soul Arcade, there's a giant rocket. And of course, arcades are a human invention. In fact, most animals don't even have opposable thumbs, yet all those things have like joysticks and levers. So these are obviously from a human influence. And what's interesting is the Soul Arcade is all space-based. And in fact, it itself is a rocket ship. And if you look really closely in the rocket ship, there's a little alien that goes in and out. And it's shaped like a stereotypical alien, like how us humans would imagine it. But obviously, that's not what aliens would look like if we found them. If we found aliens, the probability that they looked like that would be ridiculous. It's just some idea that we've come up with in our heads. So wouldn't it make sense that if humans have been gone from Animal Jam forever, and they don't really know who landed in this spaceship, well, they would just make it up to be some random looking thing from outer space. And this has been the symbol of we don't know what it really looks like, but we know it came from outer space. So the animals would use that as their symbol to represent these mysterious beings that came from space long, long ago that I believe were actually humans. And of course, the entire world and the world map and the loading symbols are all shaped like Earth. So the animals of Animal Jam must have had some sort of interaction with Earth itself and must have been able to communicate with the humans somehow in order to blend these two worlds together. So therefore we can make two conclusions. The humans have interacted with the animals before, and Animal Jam takes place in the future where either we can fly up to Jamaa, or if none of that's true, then at least somehow people like Brady Barr and Tierney can send their videos over to Jamaa, like cross-planetary email stuff, to a planet that we haven't ever seen or discovered or know exists. That's obviously very far away. So where are the humans now? Well, it appears that all the humans died out. That's why we have things like the skullies and the skull helmet that are shaped like the human skull, because there weren't humans and then they all died, most likely in the first Phantom War, and that's why all we have left of these humans is videos. Now the question arises, why did humans die? Why did humans leave Earth in the first place? And why Jamaa? And also, okay, why are they sending nature videos? Why is there this huge culture of nature in Animal Jam? Well, what I think happened is Jamaa is this refuge that humans fled to after, global warming took over the planet, and humans realized the value of conserving nature, and they taught the animals their ways before the last of them died out. But the reason that they don't get anything else from Earth, and there's this huge appreciation for Earth, is because they still hold human culture within their values. Because humans came over knowing that their planet was going to end, and tried to teach these animals how to preserve the environment and how to be amazing. And so they elected these alphas of nature and just power of nature, and just, Animal Jam is a huge focus on the natural world. And that's why there are so many informational videos all about nature and trying to teach kids how to preserve nature and how to be amazing when it comes to nature. Because it's almost like this future dystopian world of after all humans have died and all that we have left is this faraway planet that's just trying not to repeat our mistakes. And that's why they give Earth so much credit, and we're like on their loading screens and they have all of our countries as flags, is because they see our struggle and they've learned so much from the Earth and the humans who came there and taught them their mistakes, that they're trying not to let the same happen. And that's where the battle for the Phantoms comes in. In fact, humans and Phantoms are inherently related. Phantoms represent the humans. They cause death, destruction, and just like pollution of the environment, and they're trying to ruin these animals' natural habitats. So Phantoms are kind of like what humans are nowadays before they undergo this transformation in the future to try and help the animals. And so that's why the animals are able to value the Earthlings and not necessarily the Phantoms. And so through the Earthlings' teachings of preserving the environment and through all these things that they've taught them, they've started to value their own world. And that's what started the war against the Phantoms, is they realized that they couldn't let their natural world be taken up by these evil, gross, polluting beings. And so they actually stood up for themselves because of what the Phantoms taught them. So Animal Jam's lore and storyline and world is actually kind of almost a sign of the future, of what Earth might come to. And that's why the lore is so cool. It has little symbolism like that hidden in there, and whether Animal Jam intended it like that or not, you can totally read it that way. Now, of course, where this theory starts to fall apart is Animal Jam making practical use out of its game and saying things like, oh, we'll adopt pandas in real life if you adopt this certain number of pandas in the game. So obviously, if that was to be factored in, then it would kind of throw apart this entire theory. But I really think that you can't include that in this theory because this is about the lore of Animal Jam and not what they logically have to do as an upstanding company who really wants to help out the environment in the world that does still exist, so that we don't end up in a world like Jamaa where we're all dying and global warming has killed us all. And all we have left to do is like teach another race not to repeat our mistakes. And this is also why I believe that the humans helped the Phantoms in the first Phantom War, because this is where they learned those values. The humans stepped in and they said, we need to fight these Phantoms. I mean, whoever really explained where the origin of the fight between animals and Phantoms started? I mean, the Phantoms are bad, yes, but that's from our perspective as humans. The Phantoms were like polluting lands and hurting the environment, but they weren't killing anyone. I mean, so why do we feel that they're bad? That's because that's a human perception that you don't want your habitat destroyed. Whereas a lot of the time, animals are indifferent and they don't realize. And so I think this line of the story is again a call to action for humans of, hey, a tiger can't do anything if it's being poached or if its habitat is being destroyed, and it's up to humans to go and take that initiative and to help those boys survive in the world and to really do something amazing, and to be able to help a species that does not deserve to die to continue to live by helping them, by preserving their environment, by stopping the threat, which is exactly why humans entered the first Phantom War. You see, the Phantoms pretty much represent the bad humans, so it's kind of like the good humans of Animal Jam who play Animal Jam, who are on the side of the animals inherently by playing Animal Jam, versus bad people who like try and destroy the environment for monetary gain or just because they don't care. They think hunting for like rare endangered African species is fun, everything like that. That's what the Phantoms represent, and that's where the lore becomes so important. And that's why we have humans like enshrined in the Chamber of Knowledge, because they did fight in that original Phantom War. And though it's a metaphor, they showed the animals how to stand up for themselves. Like obviously nowadays, you're not gonna go to a polar bear and show a polar bear how to like start making ice again, or like join an activist group to like keep polar bears ice. No, that's a metaphor for you're helping the animals by fighting against the Phantoms, which are the evil humans, and the animals will be on your side and they will love you, and they're caring and compassionate and awesome creatures who are capable of so much. Because if this is in the future, then we see that these animals are capable of their own currency system, of living in harmony with one another with no discrimination whatsoever between species or anything. They're capable of like making their own items, of mining for gold, of playing these intense mini games, of like establishing friendships and just setting up mail systems, and they are so smart and worthy of existing, and the humans had to sacrifice themselves to give those animals that chance. So again, if Animal Jam lore really did follow this path, then it all rotates around this idea that it is your mission to go out and help those animals do what they can do, because they have just as much right to live as any of us do, because they are amazing creatures who were born into this world just like us, who have just as much potential, just in their own special way. So anyways, Beans, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.